Now let's welcome back our panelists, beginning with a gentleman Skyping in from New York. You see him here weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern. Steve Malzberg, host of the Steve Malzberg Show, and also here, keeping his hands to himself and his comments, just the picture of propriety, managing editor of the Shark Tank political blog, Javier Manjarres. Gentlemen, we heard MK reference Laura Ingraham and her tweet today, but last night, from the stage in the convention center, she was on fire, talking to the media. Look and listen.
You all know why in your heart Donald Trump won the Republican nomination. You know it. You know why he won it? Because he dared to call out the phonies, the frauds, and the corruption that has gone unexposed and uncovered for too long. Too long. Do your job.
So Laura Lee saying, hey, do your job, press. You know, guys, what I think about, and Laura's on target, but Moles, what I remember is the first debate on the left, Hillary and Bernie, and remember, I don't care about your emails. And the press covering that event was ecstatic, saying, oh, look, she's got absolution from Bernie for being a crook. If people don't understand that the dominant media culture in this country is just owned lock, stock, and barrel by the left, I don't know if they're cognizant of much anything.
Look at what happened with Melania's speech. However, in 07 and 08, when Barack Obama was running and he plagiarized Governor Deval Patrick of Massachusetts, it got 1/4 of the coverage. The Media Research Center did a study that came out yesterday. 1/4 of the coverage, and he was the candidate, and Melania Trump is the wife. So, you know, that's just one little example. You and I, JD, could sit here for 3 hours and go step by step, item by item over the media. And Donald Trump realizes it. And the people he surrounds himself with realize it, like Newt Gingrich and Chris Christie and others, and they're not afraid to call out the media, as Donald has done, when he sees something and smells a rat. I'm going to wait and see, be very interesting. Who will the debate moderators be? And remember Candy Crowley 4 years ago. Who will the debate moderators be? Is Donald Trump going to allow people from the far left to run a whole debate and add their bias?
Okay, a closed circuit assignment for Javi. Listen, you come up with the line the line that Donald Trump would have used on Candy Crowley at that debate had he been there instead of Mitt. You think about that for a second, but I've got a very serious phone call now at 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629. He's someone you have seen on this program and other Newsmax programs. Julio Rivera calling in tonight from New Jersey. Julio, we appreciate your time, and I read an interesting post that you offered today on Facebook. You were with Ted Cruz all the way, but will you share where you stand tonight?
Okay, basically, I look at it like this. Ted Cruz is a legislator. He's working on behalf of his constituents in Texas. It's so much more, it'd be so much easier for him to pass what he's promising people with a Republican administration, Republican appointments. We're looking at potentially a 7-2 liberal advantage in the Supreme Court within one term of Hillary Rodham Clinton. We're looking at potentially illegals being able to vote by 2020 if a Democrat gets in there. How are we going to have a conservative revolution if we don't turn it back now? He should have endorsed Donald Trump.
So what does this do for your relationship with Ted Cruz in the future? Are you still in his corner?
I mean, listen, I love Senator Ted Cruz, and I think it was a little bit misguided. I think that the pressure of being on the national stage and running an election, and it was a dirty campaign all over the place. I mean, there was a lot of things that were said, but that's the nature of politics. You have to put that aside and do what's best for the people you work for, the American people, and for him, the people of Texas. Texas is still going to vote Republican. You think Texas is going to vote red? Of course not.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, Julio, and I thank you for your call and setting it straight. When I saw that posting, I said, wow, it'd be great if Julio joined us, and Julio Rivera tonight from Hackettstown, New Jersey. We thank you for your comment. But I've got to ask the panelist, Because should we assume, it's dangerous in the political business. Julio says Texas is a lock. Okay, you'd think so. But what if Hillary decides not to take Tom Vilsack of Iowa or Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, and instead does what Michael Patrick Flanagan suggested was going to happen? She picks a guy like one of the Castro brothers down there deep in the heart of Texas. Could Texas be up for grabs, Javi?
Well, yeah. I mean, a couple of years back, they were saying that New Mexico would never be up for grabs, and that's been going Democrat for the past couple election cycles. They said the same for other states. Look at Florida. Florida was very red. Now it's a swing state. Texas is going that direction. Look, you have all these Hispanics, crossing over, and again, it's turning purple more so. And this has been reported widely over the past several election cycles. Texas, I think, in the next maybe 2-3 election cycles could go blue, and maybe even this one, but it's not locked. It's not because that's what they said about Florida before. It was a red state.
Well, conversely, let's go to Steve's stomping grounds, New York, and that eastern seaboard, Steve. Donald Trump with a chance in the Empire State, in the Keystone State, and today we get news Ohio is dead even, and Hillary's been spending money, what's the old expression, like a drunken sailor? Though we know she's fully sober as she spends that money. But we saw emails, they're, quote, panicked up there.
Yeah. Well, first of all, kudos to Julio Rivera, who I love. You have him on your show, I have him on my show, and I know it took a lot, and it took a lot for a true and tried Cruz supporter as he was to come around and to realize what's best for the country, and I applaud him for that. I don't know about New York. Certainly the others are all in play. I hope New York is in play, but he's going to have to really make a large effort in the city. I mean, the city is, overwhelmed. They elected Bill de Blasio, okay?
Yeah.
So I think you got to work from the city out, not from the suburbs in. And it's going to be very interesting to see. But, I mean, I hope he starts spending money, around after Labor Day and makes an intensive, a media push. And I think that will be the push that puts him over the top.
Well, it begins tonight with his acceptance speech in about an hour, give or take a few minutes, and we will continue to monitor what is transpiring on the floor. For now, Steve Malzberg via Skype from New York, and my good friend Javier Manjarres from the Newsmax TV newsroom. We will be talking to you again soon. And of course, we'll be talking to you on the telephone very quickly. Hour 2 of our coverage, or at least with me in the chair, will begin here in just a few seconds as we have more of your calls, more of your comments, and more guests with our coverage of the Republican National Convention.